Hey guys, George Gardner from Gardner Painting Services, Jacksonville, Florida. We're going to go over a quick stucco patch today. First thing for materials needed for the job: mud pan, 4-inch, 6-inch, 9-inch blade, depending on the size of the patch. A bucket with a little bit of water. I like to have a stucco sponge or a heavy sponge just to clean things up afterward. Spare water. And then on this job, we're using the rapid set stucco patch material. Great stuff. What I've done here is started mixing. This is our repair. We're going to do this, then let that cure before we do a coat. We've already pressure washed this building. We've got some damage here and on the other side. I've started mixing already the mortar. This is a little bit loose, so I'm going to add a little bit more. If we were using a hopper, then this would actually be maybe a hair too thick. We'd want to thin it down some. I'm going to add just a little bit more powder here. And again, on small patches, you can mix right in your mud pan. If we were using or doing a larger patch, we would be using 5-gallon buckets with a paddle drill. And here we go. Again, mix it right in the pan. And on this, because you can see there's nothing forming it on the bottom, I'm going to build it up a little bit. And so I want to make sure that the product, that the patch material, rather, is thick enough that I can form it. So I want to make sure we get all the powder out of there, mixed in well. And I'm going to try it at this consistency and see how it does. One thing, there's a lot of different ways we can match the texture. You can splatter it and knock it down. On this, I'm going to kind of blade it. It is on the bottom, so I'm not as concerned about getting a dead match to the texture up here, but we definitely want it to be done correctly. First step is to fill in the gap. You can see I've got this thick enough that it is staying put. I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to hit this too. Now when you get a little hairline fracture, typically we use a credit card thickness as a rule of thumb, like along in here. We don't use this, the rapid set for that. We'll actually use a 50-year elastomeric siliconized acrylic caulking compound. We'll fill that joint in and then possibly take a little of this after the fact with your finger and just kind of, create some sort of texture to match. But in this case, we're not going to bother with that right now. You have a limited amount of working time with your mud mix, so you don't want to mix it until you're absolutely ready to apply. It'll harden in the pan and that'll waste material. I'm just going to throw my pan down here to catch whatever falls. Just like this. And skim along the bottom. And fill that in. Fill this in. And I've got that one little gap over here. And I'm going to fill that in. Material cost, a bucket of this, of the rapid set, runs around, I don't know, $14 or $15. You can get quite a few quick repairs out of a box. But still, be frugal with your product. Try not to waste material. And mix only what you need. You can see here I almost came up a little short, but I think I can finish with what I've got. Okay, so there's our first pass. I'm just slashing it now. This is just slashing it along, just trying to get some sort of texture look to it, just like that. Then the other thing you can do, now this, I'm going to have to mix a little bit more with, and I'll do that in just a second. One other thing you can do to avoid having, once this is painted, you want to visualize what's this going to look like once it's painted. Well, we don't want to see real evidence of repair work. So that's where I'll take my sponge and just along those edges, just real lightly feather those in. And basically the goal here is you and I, or anybody applying this, the homeowner probably, will always know that this repair was done, so he'll be able to spot this. But a passerby or someone not in the know, so to speak, would never know that there was a patch that occurred. Once this cures, I'll finish this after the video. I don't want to waste the time with it right now. But once this cures, we give it about 12 hours on average. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll apply a clear sealer. I prefer the Loxon Masonry Conditioner from Sherwin-Williams. We do a clear sealer that dries within an hour or so, and then we'll begin doing the complete paint on the stucco. The sealer allows not only a consistent coating aesthetically, it also helps to absorb and helps the product, the paint, the finished paint, to absorb and adhere to the sidewall. So there you go, Stucco Patch 101. If you have any questions, comments, or requests, you can always contact us at www.gardnerpaintingservices.com. In the greater Jacksonville area, you can reach us at area code 904-814-3939. Have a great day.